5:34. At 5:34, we are starting. Tracy, would you do the roll call, please?
Yes. Commissioner Baker,
Present.
Commissioner Friedman,
Here.
Commissioner Futterman.
Here.
And for the record, we note the absence of Commissioner Torrens and of Vice Chair Evans. And we have confirmation of a quorum this evening.
Thank you. Okay, are there any concerns regarding the agenda? If I hear none, we will assume it's accepted. I can tell you that there are going to be some portions missing, but we'll announce those as we get to them. Okay, like I say, I'm Don Barrett, Chair, and I see we have some guests. Welcome to the July meeting of the Sustainability Commission. Let's see, do we have a public? Are there any public comments? Hearing none, we will begin with my report, the chair's report. Let me pull it up. On the chair's report, there's just something that's going to hang out for a while, which is a presentation by the city clerk on public record policy. We're not going to be starting that until we have new commissioners. I'm going to leave it on until that for now, just to note that it is upcoming for that. Related to that actually is the next point, which is I've made a note of consolidation of subcommittee and commissioner reports. We currently list, I don't remember how many, but it's seemingly like 10 different subcommittees and commissioner reports. And I have this weakness for having cleaner agendas. And so I'm hoping that we can reduce the number of those that are listed or change how they're listed so they're not listed unless we happen to be having business coming up about them. That's just a general notion. If that is a problem for people, let me know and we can go back to how it was. But that's just one of the points of what we're doing. We were going to have a presentation today by Jake Torrens on the bike report, which was intended to become part of a larger process of dealing with alternative transportation issues related to reducing greenhouse gas emissions. And I had hoped that we would at this point be able to create an alternative transportation subcommittee with hopefully 2 commissioners. That is still my hope. We will see what happens when we actually next look at the bike report. The bike report, though it is on the agenda for today, is not going to be covered. The commissioner could not make it today. So that's one more issue on my report. The other thing is I'm concerned about the overall support staff, the support staff that we have. There are multiple requirements with 1383 and other sorts of things that suggest that we should have many more, many more actually, more staff than Coordinator Sheldon. And I'm hoping that we can have that resolved at some point in the near future with having sufficient staff for all of the types of products that we have to put out, with the reports that have to come out, with the planning for the for 1383 and for the other sorts of things, and then for the anticipated future work on issues like alternative transportation. So those are my concerns. They're just concerns. They're not anything that we act on right at the moment, but it's a direction that we need to be going. Any questions about my reports, my thoughts, my concerns? No. Okay. All right. Let's see. I believe we're at staff comments. Is that right? Yes, Flynn. I should say Deputy City Manager Fack. I'm sorry.
I answer to many things, Chair, so
I
that's
can't get
fine.
used to doing that.
No, that's quite all right. First of all, as you've seen in the announcements, our city manager has announced his resignation. I just want to reassure the Sustainability Commission that even though the city manager is resigning, the rest of city management remains in place, as well as the city council priorities relative to sustainability and funding for the program, including the expansion of sustainability staff. So all of those things remain in place and our program will continue on. So again, just wanted to reassure the board of that. Also, last month, I had announced that we had hired a new director of the Office of Sustainability. I'm happy to report that Ms. Lindsay Page McCloy is here with us this evening. I wanted to just introduce her briefly before we go dark during the month of August. And before we resume again in September. Lindsay Page will begin on August the 1st here at the City of Palm Springs. And with that, LP, I'll invite you to turn on your camera and I'll give you just a brief introduction. She is currently the program director with the Los Angeles Clean Tech Incubator. Prior to that, she was with the City of New York for 7 years in the Office of the Mayor, working in the Office of Sustainability and also in the Office of the Chief Technology Officer. That's just a brief overview of her professional experience. And with that, LP, I'll turn it over to you to give a brief introduction, if you wouldn't mind.
Sure. Thank you so much. So it's such a pleasure to be here with everyone. And Flynn, thank you so much for the invitation. I really appreciate it. So as you may have noticed, I usually go by LP, which is short for my hyphenated first name because I'm from the South. So, you know, the Mary Anns and Mary Claires and Joannes of the world. I got Lindsay Page, which kind of sounds like a first and last name, but we make it work. So Lindsay Page or LP, whichever is totally fine. I will also caveat that after my 10 years in New York, I talk like an auctioneer sometimes, like real fast. This has been a multi-year project for me to try to slow my roll. It hasn't been going very well, but I am working on it. And so feel free at any time. It will not be a surprise to me if you're like, LP, we're going on a journey and I haven't caught up. So feel free to just flag me down at any time. So like Flynn mentioned, so I'm currently coming to you live from the Los Angeles Clean Tech Incubator. So I have my professional career so far has been an interesting mix of like sort of technology. So my background's in my undergrad education's in mechanical engineering and material science. So kind of engineer's mindset a little bit. So started out kind of working very technical spaces, but have always kind of had a lot of policy work. And, my dad's a retired Marine, everybody in my family worked for the government. So, government jobs are kind of the only jobs I understand. And so figuring out how to kind of weave all those things together has really been the professional project of my last few years. So so excited to be joining the team, to be working with Tracy, with Flynn, with all of you, just really incredible, like inspirational work that has been coming out of the city of Palm Springs. And I'm just like kind of stunned that I get to work on it with all of you. So very excited to learn more about everyone's priorities, kind of understand where you want to go. I've really been trying to catch up, especially on a lot of the waste related work. I did a lot of that in New York. So super excited to hear about EPP popping up on the agenda, seeing some, Tracy, I watched part of one of your presentations on single-use plastics reduction recently. I thought it was great. Just really excited to jump in and get to know more about all of you and the work that you're looking forward to doing.
LP, thank you very much. And again, we appreciate you being here for our Sustainability Commission meeting this evening. So thank you very much. With that, Mr. Chair, that concludes my portion of staff comments, and I'll turn it over to Ms. Sheldon to continue. And again, if you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and turn off my camera, but am here in the meeting.
Thank you very much. Included in the agenda packet, I wanted to provide an overview of how the funds were spent over this past fiscal year for the Sustainability Scholarship Program that this commission approved and supported. So this was our second year of offering a scholarship program. We did focus a lot on the implementation of the new foodware ordinance. So I wanted to support our local businesses in purchasing reusables, purchasing the correct disposables, making sure they're compostable. also supporting the purchase of some of the dishwashers and different ways that we could support them with the implementation of the program. Chair Barrett shared an image earlier today. Coffee with a K, one of our local coffee businesses, they took advantage of the scholarship for their 3 Palm Springs locations. And so they are very proud and have put some new signage out to make that announcement to their customers and also encourage reusables. So we love that. The focus, we do have the funds split between sustainability and recycling. Everything that fell under the foodware ordinance support came out of the recycling funds. So just under $26,000 was spent. And then we also continued to support the gas leaf blower ban and did contribute funds to some purchases of electric leaf blowers. So you can see through the list there that was provided, but a well-embraced program, looking forward to the 3rd year of this program and businesses continuing to take advantage of it. And so it was wildly successful. So thank you so much for your support of the community and businesses in creating this scholarship program. Did anybody have any questions in regards to the report or the funds?
Yeah, my only comment is I'm always amazed at the number of things that we're doing and they seem to be working. As you say, I was shocked to walk into a coffee shop and see a very obvious sign saying we're switching to glass, and we're doing it, and we're supporting. They didn't say supporting sustainability; it's supporting the environment. So it was nice to see.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again on behalf of the community. With that, I'll turn it back to you, Chair Barrett.
Okay, well, I would like to say in the first place, very much welcome to LP for being here tonight and seeing what we're doing at this moment. I think the commission is going to be having some changes in the near future because of some people are timed out. They're staying on for now, but they are timed out, and we will be getting some new commissioners hopefully fairly soon. So we're all going to be going through some changes together. But I think we can handle that very well. I don't think I have anything else to say.
I have a question for Tracy. Just going back, there was Desert Jacks that has 3 line items for $750 each for a waste stream refuge system. What is that, and how did they end up getting 3 times?
I'm glad you asked that question. So Desert Jack is Jack in the Box.
Oh.
They have 3 different locations here in Palm Springs. And we were really promoting the 3 stream refuse system, with the landfill, organic food waste, and also recycling. So
that's what that means. Okay.
They purchased, their containers were approximately $5,000 each for each of the locations.
Each?
So the $750 helped offset some of those costs. They did purchase pretty fancy 3 stream refuse systems, but we encourage that. And that's just an example of one of the items that the scholarship supported.
Thank you.
Tracy, if I may, I just noticed that one of the beneficiaries of the scholarship, I actually had dinner at last night, and I got a styrofoam takeout, and I thought those were not supposed to be happening anymore. So I will. You might want to take a bit. I'll email you separately because they seem to be not using the scholarship with what they need to use the scholarship for.
I look forward to receiving your email. Thank you. We'll do a follow-up.
I just realized that they were one of the beneficiaries, but a friendly visit might help.
That's helpful for the monitoring, so thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, I believe then we're ready to begin on our presentation. Jennifer, we're ready. You're muted.
All right, thank you, Chair. I would first just like to share a little bit of the history. If you're not familiar with, this environmental art contest, it's been around in the Coachella Valley for 18 years. I was once the Coachella Valley coordinator for CREEK, which is a statewide network funded by California Department of Education. And this was just a passion of mine to create this program. And after they changed kind of the mission of CREEK and they let all of us coordinators go, the Environmental Education Collaborative that I've been on that board probably for the last 10 years, the EEC took it over as a project, and our Sustainability Commission has been providing, some sponsorship over the last 5 years. And, part of that has been entwined with World Environment Day. So the last couple of years, with the pandemic, we went virtual with the art contest, and it's been interesting, to do it this way. And it actually has been great to, provide this opportunity, especially when there are not so many other things going on for kids. And it has been open up to adults as well, because we want to encourage everyone to participate if they're interested. My favorite part about this contest is that it, invites this opportunity for everyone to think critically and to present something creatively. So I would like to share with you this year's winners. Thank you, Carl Baker, for being one of our judges again. And, this is something that we'd love to continue with, and I hope that you enjoy seeing these as much as I'm going to enjoy sharing them with you. So this year's contest, the themes were water and water justice. So we've added justice the last couple of years. It seems really appropriate. And, you'll see the different, there wasn't so much water justice, but, that's understandable, especially with a lot of younger kids, but you will see a few. So we'll start with the visual art. And we did not have entries at every grade level, and but we did have a bunch of ties. So we did, utilize all $2,000 of the funds to give out prizes. The first winner is our kindergarten winner, Camden Fierro. There we go. I won't read all of them, but I'll read a few. Plastic in the ocean is a big problem. A sea turtle could see a plastic bag and think it was a jellyfish. The turtle would eat the plastic bag thinking it was a yummy jellyfish. The turtles need our help. Don't use plastic bags and keep our oceans clean. So super sweet, to get a kindergartner thinking like this.
Yes.
And this is her brother. Every drop counts. The world is full of water, but only a small amount of it is fresh water. All water is connected. The water from a puddle in California can evaporate and be a raindrop falling from a cloud anywhere all over the world. The water cycle keeps going, and we need to keep our water clean. So pretty profound for these young folks thinking like this. And this girl, Grace Vallejo Perez, I love that she says water is love. So she's giving water to her horses. And I spoke with her on the phone, and, she's really proud to provide this life-sustaining water to her horses. And now I believe the 6th grade, we start with our ties. So we had a 3-way tie here. Samuel Baron Marquez. I like that he offers, to water at night. He's giving little tips here, 5-minute showers or less. Don't let the sink keep running, save water, save life. And he related it to water justice, which is cute. This one is really profound. Rafael Balmes. I love this because this image, he's noting that kids around the world may not have the luxury to have clean water to play with or drink. So he says, I felt this photo can connect to some kids who have no clean water to drink or bathe in. When you think about it like that, that's dirty water, it's pretty amazing. And Silas Diaz, water justice for all. This poster shows water turning into polluted water. The more down you read the title. I like that he used the colors of the rainbow, since rainbows are created by water, and how if we don't destroy something, it can be beautiful. So that's pretty profound. And the next one, Was there, let's see. There was another one. I don't see that one, Silas Diaz. But this group collaboration, this won one of our group collaborative awards. And I know, I don't know if you all know the Scrap Gallery. Karen Riley has been doing work with kids, all over our community doing recycled art projects for many, many years. And so this is the exploratory class at Nellie Kaufman Middle School. And they wrote, we wanted to highlight that no matter where you live, what happens to our ocean affects us all. So this is about coral reefs. And we just love this one. I mean, obviously the judges all like this one. So it's neat to see that, I love group collaborations where they sometimes each will do one piece and then put them all together. It's a wonderful way to connect with your classmates. So 7th grade, we have Amber Perez. My painting shows a sea turtle surrounded by pollution like plastic and other trash we throw away into the water. So this is just a beautiful piece, and it's striking, just to see what we throw away oftentimes gets into the ocean. And those straws have been a nightmare for turtles. So I was glad she put that in there. Now this next one, Azalea Gambino, she is an artist with special needs, and yet she won all out just the 8th grade competition. So she writes, she took some time to feel water running out of the faucet, listening to its sound, thinking about what water meant to her, then wrote these thoughts along the waves. So it's a little hard to read some of this, but it says water is important to us. Water looks like slivery rivulets. Water sounds like an instrument. So those are just some of the few things that if you'd like to, we can send you this PowerPoint as well if you want to look at this a little further, but super inspiring. And I was shocked that she has special needs. I don't know what they are, but really profound piece. And here's our other group collaborative winner. So this is Annalie Vargas and Catalina Tapania from 8th grade. This artwork shows a clean and safe water environment. It represents how much everyone and everything needs clean water to be healthy. Not everyone has access to clean water, but when they do, they have a better chance of being all right. I don't know what the rest of that says. We have some background, someone, if you're not muted. And here we have 9th grade. Our 9th grade winner actually won 2 prizes. So she writes, I try to make my art connect to the theme water and water justice by using a lot of blue colors to represent watercolors. I also put 2 quotes involving water justice on my character's shirt and on the bucket carrying water. I made my character carry the bucket of water to show that she's taking it to those in need. And so it also relates to the water theme. I truly believe everyone has the right to clean water, no matter who they are. So I have to try to read this for you. Oh, thank you. Water is a human right, no matter who you are. Water for all. So super cute. We're thinking maybe this could be maybe a poster girl for our next contest because she's just so adorable. I think it would attract a lot of attention and interest in the contest. And she was definitely okay with that. So she won, let's see, she won the Judge's Choice Award as well as 9th grade, best of 9th grade. And next we have Gavin Avery. My art represents how we polluted the water, and we need to recognize that it is the most wanted thing needed to survive. I love this because, there's this double entendre of, it's the most wanted resource, right? We all want it, we need it to live. And yet it seems like the polluters should also be the most wanted, for this crime of polluting water. So I love that. And next we have 10th grade. Ivan Matias, my art statistically shows the ocean and how it sends an important message, but at the same time, very simple. Water pollution is a serious and important topic to talk about, and something needs to be done. So I love that he put the 70%, and it's kind of interesting though, that's like so much of that is polluted in that drop. Save water, save earth. So pretty profound for a 10th grader. And then coming with our 11th grade, Sydney Young, they won, both best of 11th grade and also best recycled art piece. So this is, I love this because it says in the piece itself, do better. My piece aims to address the crisis of water pollution by plastics across the globe. Marine life are struggling to survive in these new conditions, and they aren't able to adapt easily to an abundance of non-biodegradable materials in their ecosystems. Marine health is vital for our world, and when the ocean suffers, the world suffers. As a society, we truly must do better and work to protect and rebuild our planet for future generations. Tyler Salas. So there was a tie, with Sydney and Tyler, and this one is just so beautiful. It's such an exquisite piece just to look at. He writes, my art connects to the water theme because I caught the perfect shot using ground photography method to capture the reflection of nature's beauty above and the stream below. The beautiful sound of the water flowing down the stream, the sight of precious butterflies and hummingbirds, and the enjoyment of swinging in nature. All of Earth's elements and creations all surrounds you, with each step slowly soaking it in. Carlos Ayala. Oh, I guess we had a three-way tie. I wrote this out. Let's see. My art shows how much we need to open our eyes and realize how important water justice needs to be seen. My art also shows our cry for help in this world. We need a change. I love that he addresses Flint. Not every youth is aware of what's going on across the country. So that was really profound to see that, and just to sense how he knows also that water justice is something that really needs to be addressed right now in our country and in our own backyard. I just found out that Needles is using bottled water, so that's in our backyard. They don't have clean water, so that's something that needs to be looked at too. So best of 12th grade. We have another tie here. This piece is just so beautiful. So if you look closely, you'll see that, it's a puddle with this reflection in it. The water in the ground is being used as a reflective surface. The water reflects the tree. Trees need water to live, and the water that is used in the photo is needed to see the tree. So that's such an interesting composition. And next we have, and this is our best special needs project. So just alone, when you look at the project, it's interesting, but then when you read it, read what he wrote. This painting is meant to show the challenges faced in life. Sometimes things are hard, and personally, the best way to describe it is if you were drowning. You're grasping for air and reaching for the light, hoping things will get better. I also personally connect with this painting because I feel most calm and relaxed while at the beach admiring the waves. So that brought me to tears. It's really, how articulate, right? For someone to be able to express how he feels. And the next one, Ruby Palomino. The meaning of this artwork is showing that the woman is happy with the rain falling. It is a reflection of a dirty environment, showing bad chemicals and rotten plastic coming down from the sky. The toxic gas, bad pollution is killing the environment, and the woman is holding a water bottle, comparing the clean water to the dirtiness surrounding her. The main meaning of this artwork is to show that if you take care of the world, you can have a clean, nice place. But if you don't, then you can suffer from how bad air can really mess with your immune system and shut down your system completely. We did have a college student participate. So we give a best of prize at every grade level, and then one for adults. So this one, I love that she uses water is life. You know, this came from Standing Rock over the last, I can't remember, 5 years or so. Maybe it's 10 now. My artwork connects to the water justice theme by outlining the significance of water towards living in nature, but also communicates the necessity of having access to clean water. I illustrated this by creating a river and mountain range to suggest growth and a healthy environment, but including a faucet as the source of water in the form of a waterfall. Additionally, I included water pipes in the background to convey the need for clean water getting into people's homes. I added the words, water is life, because in my personal research into water justice, I found this common saying as a major influence for my work. And here we have our adults. We have a tie here, Karen Martin. This painting is about how important water is. It encircles all around us and we can't survive without it. And this is a really interesting piece. This is salt ponds. So Barbara Boyce-Sivan writes, industrial salt palms have existed in the San Francisco Bay since the 1800s and are characterized by environmentalists as having taken away the lungs of the bay. They are now part of the South Bay Salt Pond Restoration Project, the largest wetland restoration project in the United States. Over the course of 60 years, these salt ponds will go back to their natural state. I began photographing these dramatic changes in 2010, and as the restoration continues, I will add to this series, documenting the increasing biodiversity over the coming decades. So it's quite beautiful, right? Even if you don't know what it is.
Well, Jen, I had a question on that. So is it they're letting the salt, were they taking the salt away before and now they're letting it do its own thing again?
It sounds like they're probably adding water to it. I'm not sure because it's drying up. I don't know anything about the project. This was the first I've heard of it. But it kind of reminded me of what's happening with our Salton Sea and the danger of if that dries up, we're going to have a huge environmental problem. You know, how she says that this is taking the lungs of the bay and, we won't be able to breathe if we don't do something about our Salton Sea, if that starts to really dry up. Right. So, yeah. And the writing submissions, we probably don't have time to go through these, but if you're interested, we'll just go through a little bit. We had Marley Dakota. My art connects to the water by explaining not only in words, but in imagery, which I know most people base things off of. I hope it hits deep on the listener's perspectives as if they were the one who came up with the song. I don't know if, if we want to enlarge that or if you just, what do you think? Swimming down the ocean floor, there is no home for us no more. We take their land, leaving air. Can you move it to the left just a little bit? I don't know. Or maybe I can close let me just do that. Oh, there. Okay. We take their land, leaving air, home in rubbish. The smoke it rises, how the clouds used to flow, but now all we see are dirty ashed. Now the grass is turning blue. Was it ever greening? The sun never sets, or does it? We wouldn't know past the smoke. Thousands.
Satellites.
Okay. A roam blocking at escape to the moon. Oh, our moon, all broken. I wish I could read this a little better. Sorry. My dear moons, I'm sorry. We trashed you. Mission field, please retreat. Oh, retreat. How could we know this would happen? Mission failed, mission failed, mission failed. No dolphins. Don't come and fly no more. No black barrier. Sings them? I don't know what that stops them. Marley Dakota, they they wrote a song. So for most of these, we won't be able to read them, but they were profound, and I encourage you, if you're interested, to. So for many individuals, this is she actually won. So our 8th grade, and it's a poem. For many individuals, there seems to be a disconnect from reality while hearing about the issue of water pollution. With the privilege of constant access to clean water, sympathy is spared for a moment, but we never think about what can be done when the problem does not have a direct effect on our lives. In writing The River, I felt the need to emphasize the personal impact water and water justice can have. I wanted to spark thought on how water can foster change for any one of us and how every one of us can foster change for water. Ninth grade, we have Alessandra Pimentel. My poem, The Ripples, is connected to water by explaining the abusiveness as humans do to our water and other natural resources made of water. Through greediness, the population has been destroying water, leaving other people to die from thirst as we barely realize our own flaws because we crave for so much power. The water we have used to our advantage is now gradually failing us. However, humans lack to take action to end this. Our 11th grade winner, she also, what was the other prize? I think it was the Judge's Choice. Yeah, this was our Judge's Choice Award for writing. This poem is quite self-explanatory. I called for the recognition of those without access to clean water and reference water history. I also underscore cases of tragedy brought about in the absence of water justice, such as the Flint, Michigan crisis, as well as the Minamata dancing cat disease. The thought process behind this poem is to subvert the idea that water is without love or thought and to treat it like the meaningful and crucial substance it is. A question of love is what she calls it. And then we have 2 adult winners that tied here. Heather Andrews Horton. As a parent of young children and lifelong resident of the Inland Empire, the quality of air and water and how it interacts with our bodies and puts vulnerable people at risk is often at the forefront of my mind. My poem is rooted in that concern. My poem contrasts the potential good that water can do when it is clean and the negative impact of water that has been polluted. And finally, we have James Coates. The poem examines water's connection with life, discussing how it is literally in us and all around us, showing how we have to find it and respect for it by searching inside and discovering the value of it being available. Also that by protecting, we are protecting life. So we had, let's see, we had, I think, 9 $100 like best of prizes. And then there was, I think, 18 or no, it was 22 $50 awards. So that was, last year we had more sponsors and our commission was the only sponsor this year. So thank you to everyone for wanting to support this. I hope you are as delighted with, the submissions as I am, and that, our other board is. And I hope that this is something that, the commission wants to continue to support. I will, my term has ended, but I'm here and I can be here until you get new commissioners. I've loved being a part of, this with you all, and creating World Environment Day is such a great way to connect with the environment in our community beyond Earth Day and Earth Month. So that's part of the beauty of having this in June. We also, have this, the submissions are due in May because it's after testing in April with the kids. So it's a project near and dear to my heart. I will keep, providing it as long as we have sponsors that believe in it. And I've loved working with all of you, and I will continue coming and hoping to collaborate in every way that we can. So thank you so much for your support of this, and hopefully we'll keep supporting it if you would like.
Well, thank you for showing these and sharing them. They're surprising to me at how good they are, particularly amongst the young children. I didn't expect what was shown. And it's encouraging. There was one of them that was surprisingly cynical. They sounded like me. But, like, is the world ever going to change? But no, it was encouraging to see them, and it does sound like it's a good project. So I will make a note of it and consider how we might do something about it in the forthcoming years. So thoughts?
I also wanted to say, being still in the pandemic, we haven't been able to have an in-person event indoors, but that's something that, I'd love to continue to work with you on World Environment Day. And if and when that time comes that we can gather, it's such a great way to involve the community and to educate our community. And that's one of the reasons I loved it so much. I coordinated that for many years and brought together, sometimes over 30 exhibitors who would, educate people as they moved around the booths, and we had different artists and live performances, and it felt really important. We even had billboards, for those of you that are new commissioners, to advertise it, which was just a fun way to have a presence as the commission, out in the desert and inviting people to come learn with us. So hopefully we can bring that back.
It does seem important. I have not, I'm being a relatively new commissioner. I haven't seen it myself, particularly since I started after COVID started here, but hopefully we will be able to get back to something more and see where to go with that. So other commissioners' thoughts? Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Let's see where we are. So actually from the ring, look, my mouth is not moving in the same direction as my brain. Next on the agenda is the approval of the minutes due to a fair amount of workload that happened with the refuse email that went out, the trash email that went out. Not email, flyer that went out to residents. Tracy has been overwhelmed and hasn't been able to get to the minutes. So we don't have any minutes yet from last meeting to approve today. And then the next thing on the agenda is the environmentally preferable purchasing policy, which we went through in June. And had reviewed that, and we were requested by one commissioner to hold it so that they could review it. That commissioner is not here today. So the question is, do we have any more questions on it? If not, we need to move this on forward so that it can go to other departments and go on to council. Do I hear any objections to moving this forward? Is that considered a unanimous?
Well, I mean, we should vote on it formally, so it
Okay.
raise our hands, but just to make clear, because nothing was attached to the agenda, so it would be helpful if we're going to have action items that be officially put. I mean, it's on the agenda, so I think it nominally satisfies the Brown Act, but it would just be helpful that when there are action items, that be sort of saying vote on or approval of, and there wasn't any attachment to make it clear that what we were going to be voting on was what was submitted. So I just went back just to make clear that what we're being asked to vote on was what was submitted last and attached to last month's agenda packet, and there are no further changes. Is that correct?
Correct at this
Okay.
point. Yes, and thank you, David. I knew that you would catch me on that somehow, which is good. It's helpful. So
It just is helpful to it's really important to me that the public have a chance to weigh in, and there was nothing that was attached. I'm not going to hold it up. It was attached to last month's agenda. Would ask in the future that we just provide information so that the public can comment on it. That's really important to me. Satisfy both the letter and the spirit of the Brown Act.
yeah, I had missed that because it was on the last month's agenda, and I realized that today myself. So apologies for that having not been attached or a part of the agenda.
Do you have the document available from last month's meeting if you'd like me to share it?
Yeah, I do. I just pulled up, I just went to my files and just pulled it up, but maybe just for the benefit, is there anybody here who wasn't here last month who would be interested in just hearing briefly? I'm fine about it. I reviewed it. I participated prior to dropping out of the discussion, so I do not have any substantive comments. This was a process comment. So I am comfortable with a vote, but just ask that next time we attach things so when we're going to be voting on them.
Okay, I do have it handy if we should look at it. It looks like that Carl and Jennifer are okay with us moving forward.
Yeah. So I think you
Okay,
can
so
call-
let's have, is that 2 yeses?
Well, I think we need a motion for approval. I'm happy to move for approval and recommendation to City Council that the City Council adopt the environmentally preferred, sorry, let me go back to the document here. The environmentally preferable purchasing policy that was attached to the agenda packet for the June 28th, 2022 Sustainability Commission meeting. I'm happy to make that motion.
I second the motion.
Thank you. So now do we want, should we have a roll call vote?
Discussion.
Sorry. Or raise hands. We don't, however you want to do it, Chair.
That's fine with me. Let's see your hands.
Aye.
Okay, that's all commissioners approved it. Okay. Thank you. Okay, coming up next is the subcommittee and commissioner reports. We have no report from the standing subcommittee on waste reduction because we were unable to meet in July, and we are going to be meeting in, we're going to meet in the first week of August because we could not meet in the first week of July. So that's the status of that. The ad hoc committee on strategic planning and general plan update.
I wasn't expecting to speak on that, but we haven't met, and obviously that's can follow up with staff about when we'd be available for any further work on the vulnerability assessment. We did discuss that last month, and so I think we're on. I think we're pending staff requests to sort of get us more involved. I'm happy to continue in that work.
Okay, okay. Okay, and solar and green building.
Okay, and for here, I do have a report. Number of things. First of all, the state legislature passed an energy trailer bill on June 29th. This was the day after our last meeting. And that's part of the fiscal year 2022-23 budget. It provides $1.2 billion for the California Arrearages Payment Program to help address unpaid residential utility balances that were incurred during the COVID-19 pandemic. The relief period extends to December 31st, 2022, and bill credits must be issued no later than April 3rd, 2023. And for Palm Springs residents, this will apply to all residential customers, whether they are on DCE service or they remain bundled with Southern California Edison. So all residential energy customers are potentially eligible for this payment, arrearages payment program. The energy package of the 2022 Budget Act also establishes the Strategic Reliability Reserve to be administered by the Department of Water Resources to support electrical grid reliability. The bill authorizes DWR to contract for purchase, finance, or otherwise secure electrical generation to create additional capacity available during extreme energy grid events. Legislatures and industry stakeholders have expressed unhappiness when many of the provisions in the bill and concerns are largely focused on siting and use of fossil resources. So additional clarifying language may be adopted before the legislative session ends. Legislature is currently in recess and resumes at the beginning of August. And then I'm meeting on Monday afternoon with Deputy City Manager Fag and Chief Building Official Alberto Gradia to discuss the 2 ordinances that I drafted, which the Commissioner approved at last month's meeting for renewable energy and also existing home energy efficiency. And the objective is to have them adopted by City Council before year end. There's a couple of tweaks that I'll make to the existing home energy efficiency ordinance based on the statewide model ordinance that's just being changed. So I'll have a couple of very minor changes to discuss with staff when I meet next Monday afternoon. And that concludes my solar and green building report.
Thank you. Okay. Jennifer, do you have anything additional on world environment today? Yeah.
I do not.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Torrance is not here. Commissioner Friedman on water conservation.
Yes, thank you. DWA and its customers achieved a 28.3% reduction in metered potable water consumption per meter during May 2022 compared to May 2013. Over the past 12 months, consumption per meter is trending 18.1% lower than compared with the 2013 baseline. However, water conservation compared with the state's new voluntary target of 15% reduction from the 2020 baseline is lagging, partly because the tourism industry was closed in Palm Springs then. To encourage consumption, to encourage conservation, DWA has increased its turf rebate to $3 per square foot in the fiscal year that just began on July 1. And at this morning's DWA board meeting, a resident noted that Rancho Mirage is matching Coachella Valley Water District's $3 per square foot turf removal rebate, and she asked if the city could also provide matching funds. So that's something that could potentially be considered, but depending on the budget. But it would be good to see additional money that's earmarked, sort of the parallel to the sustainability scholarship. This would be for our residents, but potentially also for HOAs, but I think largely for our residents to help them achieve their turf reduction efforts. The Coachella Valley Regional Water Management Group has earmarked $4.11 million in state grant funding for the Coachella Valley and has selected tentative slate of projects to submit in the application that's due on August 19th. The application plans to include $500,000 to extend DWA's recycled water system to Sunrise Park and $116,000 in grass removal rebates for DWA customers. It was discussed this morning that DWA, at this morning's DWA board meeting, the DWA will likely ask the city to cover part of the recycled water extension cost to Sunrise Park. But DWA estimates the city would be able to recover its investment in a few years because the recycled water rates are lower than the potable water rates that the city is now paying. So that would be a question for staff follow-up with DWA on that. Obviously, the grant has to be submitted and approved, but there apparently is a 1 million square feet of turf in Sunrise Park that would be available for use of the recycled water. So that would be a good project to do. I'll have further comments on water and my upcoming agenda items, but that's it for the formal report.
Yeah. Commissioner Friedman, on the report just and there are people who've raised questions about the amount of grass in Sunrise Park, so that's an encouraging point there. And also, we're getting some outside pressure regarding whether this Palm Springs can act similarly to Rancho Mirage on the turf conversion.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a budget request and ask staff to perhaps consider that. But clearly, that is something that I heard this morning, and it does seem that that's something that there's a benchmark that's been set by Rancho Mirage. And really the question is, can Palm Springs follow up on that? And I'm sure DWA, this was done way back when I first moved to Palm Springs in the summer of 2014. That was the first year that DWA had a match for turf removal. And at that point, the city did it as well. So I was able to get funds from both the city and DWA, and it might be, and I believe that's how it's now being done with Rancho Mirage, is that it's CVWD is handling the process, and I believe they will issue the full rebate, and then they would just bill the city. So administratively, it would not be complicated for a resident if a similar arrangement could be worked out with DWA. The DWA would get the application, do all of the approvals, the inspections, etc., make sure that the appropriate plants are installed, and then they would sort of essentially bill the city for whatever match would be available. That's essentially what's being done with Rancho Mirage and Coachella Valley Water District. So the gauntlet's been thrown down for Palm Springs to be able to do the same thing.
And would this be something that we as a commission should move forward to city council, or how do we?
I believe it's not formally an agenda item, but perhaps, and I would defer to staff, because there is $1 million that was granted for sustainability in the budget. So it really is a question for staff to come back. I would certainly want to have that. We can make a recommendation. Obviously, we never did have a budget discussion, so I'm not sure whether this is formally, now that we are in the new budget year, whether there is the availability of that kind of appropriation, general fund appropriation. This would not be, I don't think there's sustainability funds as sustainability funds, so this would presumably be a request for a general fund appropriation or earmark. So Tracy and Flynn, I would defer to you, but clearly we're hearing from the residents that this is something that they would like to see.
What I might recommend, Mr. Chair, is that we agenda this item for discussion in September's meeting, and we can investigate and see what can be done. We are past the budget cycle for the 22-23 fiscal year, but we'll look at other options in terms of how we might meet the challenge that's been put forth by Rancho Mirage.
Okay. Interesting challenge. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you, Commissioner Friedman. Okay, Commissioner Baker, do we have anything on wellness at this point?
Nothing new this month.
Okay, I'm not sure of the status of the smoking ordinance, but we know it has moved forward. Commissioner Friedman, do we have anything else on Desert Community Energy?
Yes, so the Desert Community Energy Board met yesterday. Thank you, Chair Barrett, for attending as the member of the Community Advisory Committee. And
actually, I wasn't able to attend. I had trouble with their Zoom for some reason. I could not get it to work.
Oh, okay. All right. I wasn't sure whether you're attending or not. But anyway, we approved a renewable energy procurement for Southern California Edison, and the board also approved continued work on a program to install solar and battery storage, distributed energy facilities, and several of possible sites or on properties that the city owns or leases. So I'm working with city staff and Deputy City Manager Fagal sort of update you on those discussions when we meet next Monday. We're holding a follow-up presentation on July 27th on the Solar App Plus permitting platform and Energy Commission funding that is now available to cover some of the costs to implement the Solar App Plus platform. And thank you to Tracy and also Taja Sims of the building department for registering to attend, and so look forward to your attendance and having more information about that. And then delighted to Zoom meet our new director, LP, and I would appreciate the opportunity to meet with her when she gets sort of settled in next month, so I can introduce her to Desert Community Energy and its role in helping Palm Springs achieve its sustainability and climate action initiatives. And was absolutely delighted to read all of her energy background, and as a former New Yorker who speaks at the same speed as she does, the two of us can speak in New York minutes and understand each other. So very much looking forward to it. You'll have to stop both of us from speaking quickly at commission meetings.
And I'll ask for an interpretation.
Yes, and then finally, we are working with our consultant Berkricks to come up with a new updated summer savings flyer. So that I think will be ready in the next few days. And Tracy will send that to you so that you can post it on the city's website about more sort of summer energy saving tips. That should be ready pretty quickly. So that's it for Desert Community Energy. A lot going on.
Okay, that is quite a bit. Thank you. Yeah, and there was a Zoom problem yesterday with Desert Community Energy. I
Oh,
don't.
okay,
what
sorry,
was
weren't
going
able
on.
to connect. Okay.
Anyway, so that wraps that up. We're open for commissioner comments and upcoming agenda. We know upcoming agenda. We now have turf conversion on the upcoming agenda. And I think we also need to talk in the future about environmental art. But that's not actually the next agenda item, the next agenda. Okay, commissioners, do we have comments for items for the next agenda? Commissioner Friedman.
Yeah, just to continue, it's more on water, but if we can get an update on the airport demonstration garden, presumably the sort of the weather changed and it wasn't the appropriate time, but if we could get an update for September as the weather gets a little cooler about when that project would be formally launched. And also related to turf conversion, what efforts, and this is probably maybe part of the same discussion, in addition to what the residents, what funds might be available for the residents, what funds, what the city can continue to do for other parts of the airport, as well as the city parks. And as far as I know, and particularly with the additional potential earmark of DWA, the city does remain eligible, just like anyone else, for the $3 rebate. So I think the turf conversion is a broader discussion for residents and city facilities, including the airport, and then specifically the airport, an update on the airport demonstration garden. So obviously drought is a big issue, and I'd like to see us have a little bit of a broader discussion at the September meeting on the city efforts on water conservation.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Futterman.
No additional comments. I hope you all have a good summer. Maybe I'll come in September until you get the new commissioners.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Commissioner Baker.
Nothing more.
Okay. And I'm not going to add anything at this point. So I believe that we are finished at this point. I'm glad to see we have one guest still on. And I think we're finished. Our next meeting is on Tuesday, September 20th. We don't meet in August. It'll again be via Zoom at 5:30. And I'm sure we'll be getting material out to you at that point. If there's no objection, we adjourn at this point at 6:36 p.m.
Thank you, Chair. Have a good summer, everyone.
Good night and thank you.
Thank
Okay, thank you.